Hi everybody! I hope you're all having a good day. I hope you're all smiling and enjoying a lovely day. In this following tutorial, I'm going to be showing you on how to have more dynamic movements with your model in VNyan, thanks to Niall's graph, and also edited by Luna for toggles. But basically, you know how live 2D models can have very dynamic bi-rotation movements. What if VNyan could have like sort of the same treatment, right? And no, we're not talking about the arm sway, that's for a different tutorial. But basically though, we're talking about the body rotation. So let's say, for instance, when I turn my head to the right or left, whatever you call it, I want my torso to follow my head movements. Or maybe if I turn my head, basically I have a more dynamic body rotation. So how do we do that? Well, basically, link in description, or I'll just send a screenshot right here in the VNyan Discord server. Basically, you can download Niall's graph. I recommend getting the version that Luna updated where it has the toggles, especially if you're going to toggle between phone, webcam only tracking, and you're toggling between full body tracking and such like that. So, I will at least say that, but basically, I'm pointing at the version that you should get though, but Niall is the original person that made the graph basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into node graphs here. You're going to add a new graph, and then what you're going to do is you're going to click on the load button at the bottom right and click on yes. I'm going to go ahead and load the Niall's graph right here, which is very big graph. But I will go over to you guys how to get it working basically. So what you're going to do, right, is you're going to go to where there's application start and just right click and click on send signal. And basically, by default, as you can kind of see, there is some slight shoulder shifting going on with the model basically. So you can do that. There's even, of course, a hotkey you can set up right here to disable it and such. So you can do that. But basically, this can get a little tricky to set up, basically. But of course, we can go through the messages here. It literally shows you like how it works, basically. It says here that it'll basically the values here, talking about what those do, and then it talks about how basically it talks more in depth. So if you are a more advanced user and you want to know how it works, there is of course the messages here. But for the most part, this is where you're going to be modifying your body movement. So let's say I don't like this, I want it to be looking like something else. So we can, for example, I can change this value to be 50. So I can go ahead 50, 50 right here. Let's change those to 50 as well. So let's change all of it to 50, and it can allow me to like turn a little more. Let me reverse the values because like a live 2D model, a lot of times this graph kind of assumes like the usual live 2D like movement. But let's say I want to not be like opposite. I want to be able to turn, so I could do this. So that way my torso can turn left and right like that. So I can change the values like that. Or again, like I said, if you prefer the default values, you can change it however you want. But this is so like you can invert it from opposite to the other way around. Basically, just negative, positive values. So remember, this one is regarding the body rotation. Then we have spine tilt here. So let me go ahead, set this one to be 50 and then negative 50. And this will allow me to have it as opposite. So if you set to negative 50 here and this one's positive 50, it will make it kind of like opposite basically. As you can see, opposite. Kind of like how some live 2D models have it where it's like opposite. But we can make it, of course, the other way around if you prefer that. I actually kind of prefer this basically. Well, not that extreme, but you get my point. I can even increase the value here to 90. Whoops. 90. 90 here. 9. 9. And then 9. So that way I can move around a lot more. Just an example. This one's for hip rise. I will say, keep in mind with how VNyan's IKs are with the feet, this will not do the hip rotation, like the hip rotation you're expecting. Like, oh, if I turn my head like this, it's going to make my hip move. Like, here, I'll show you, for example. let's say we made this into -10. Let's try actually. Maybe it changed. Yeah. Let's try actually putting this the opposite. Let me see if this will work. Yeah. This is supposed to kind of do a hip rise basically. I believe you're supposed to disable the IKs. Let me double check. No, I have plant feet off surprisingly. Yeah. Usually for this, it's supposed to help do like the hip rotation, but I kind of don't see it working when I tried it. You can experiment, see if you can get it working on your end. But otherwise the default values are fine for like a slight hip movement. But yeah, if you really do want like that hip movement, I would recommend, what was it? This setting here, the maintain hip position, because this one kind of does um it kind of does like the faked hip rotation here. See? Awa 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 awa. Again, you'll have to tweak your settings and such, of course, but this is like how, if you really want that hip rotation, I'd recommend messing with these two values basically. But either way, that's just a recommendation. And yeah, you can of course, again, you can adjust any other values, but personally I would say the lerp vector, if you just want to change how much your spine moves or how it rotates and all that, it would be with these values as I was showing here basically. For hip rise, here for spine tilt and body rotation and such, you just adjust it here. If you're a more advanced user and you have a very specific way and you know how the graph would work just by reading the messages and experimenting, you could definitely mess with the other values as well, but you know, for most beginners, you're gonna mess with the lerp vector. But either way though, that's pretty much in a nutshell how you can at least get something, you know, get some like extra body movement going on in VNyan, so you have a much more dynamic rotation of your spine. So yay, more dynamic movement. Awa awa awa. And yeah, either way though, if you have any other questions, feel free to join the VNyan Discord server. You can even talk with Niall if you have any question regarding their graph, as well as also Luna, because Luna also helped out as well. Luna's very smart. So yes, definitely check them out. And I hope that this tutorial helps you out, and have a lovely day everyone. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye! Thank you to all my Snowflake members. In case you don't know, I have YouTube membership, so if you want to further support this channel and what I do, then feel free to join the Snowflake members. Otherwise though, just your support means so much to me and I appreciate every ounce of it. Either way though, with that being said though, heika heika heika, bye bye everyone! I hope to see you guys next time, okay? Bye bye!